Carlos Ramirez had always known the streets of Chicago. Born and raised in a tough neighborhood, he witnessed the shadows of violence from a young age. His life was marked by tragedy early on, when he lost his father to gang-related violence. This loss pushed Carlos deeper into the world of the streets, seeking solace in the arms of the gang that had once taken his father away. By the time he was 20, he had become a feared and respected enforcer within one of the most notorious gangs in the city. Carlos's life took a sinister turn one night after a brutal initiation ceremony for a new gang recruit. As Carlos walked away from the blood-stained scene, he received a mysterious message. The sender demanded a meeting in an abandoned warehouse, and the tone was unmistakably threatening. Carlos had no choice but to comply. When he arrived, he was greeted by a tall, imposing figure dressed in a long, dark coat. The man introduced himself as Ivan, an agent from the KGB. Carlos's heart raced. This was a game far more dangerous than he had imagined. Ivan proposed a deal. Carlos would act as a spy within the gang, feeding the KGB information on its operations and rivals. In exchange, the KGB would provide him with protection and a generous sum of money. The thought of betraying his own gang for a foreign agency left a bitter taste in Carlos's mouth, but he realized the KGB had him trapped. Refusal could mean death, not just for him, but for his mother and younger sister, who were already living in fear. Reluctantly, Carlos accepted the deal. As Carlos began his life as a double agent, he found himself in a constant state of paranoia. His gang grew suspicious of him, sensing something was amiss. He was forced to perform increasingly heinous acts of violence to maintain his cover and keep his position within the gang secure. Each time he committed an atrocity, Carlos's conscience grew heavier, his soul darker. The darkness of Carlos's double life took its toll. His relationship with his family deteriorated as he became more detached and consumed by guilt. He began to question the purpose of his existence, haunted by the innocent lives lost due to his actions. As Carlos's role in the KGB's plans deepened, he found himself increasingly trapped in a web of violence and deception. He feared for his life every day, knowing the KGB would dispose of him the moment he was no longer useful. Carlos's world came crashing down when the KGB ordered him to eliminate a close friend within his gang. The thought of killing someone he considered family shattered him. Torn between loyalty to his gang and fear of the KGB's wrath, Carlos faced a moral dilemma that pushed him to the brink. Ultimately, Carlos carried out the KGB's orders, but the act left him broken. The trust between him and his gang was shattered, and the KGB's grip on him tightened. He saw no escape from the darkness that had engulfed his life. As the FBI closed in on Carlos's activities, he knew his time was running out. He considered running away, but the KGB's reach was too vast, and he feared for his family's safety. With no other option, Carlos chose to turn himself in to the authorities, hoping to protect his family and find some semblance of redemption. The information Carlos provided led to the dismantling of the KGB's operations in Chicago, but at a steep cost. Carlos entered witness protection, cut off from his past life entirely. Despite the protection offered by the FBI, Carlos lived in constant fear of retribution from the KGB. His new life was a cold, hollow existence, marked by isolation and regret. Carlos was haunted by the ghosts of his past, the lives lost, and the destruction he had caused. Though he had escaped the grip of the KGB, he could never escape the darkness that clung to his soul. The life he had chosen was a prison of his own making, and Carlos knew he would never truly be free from the shadows of his past.